Hello, my name is Kate Jones, and this is my presentation on the legal aspects of teacher evaluation for Module 8. First, I'm going to give a brief overview of the three articles. The first one was from the NEA, detailing some of the changes about teacher evaluation. A couple of the points that I took away from this was that the federal government was essentially deferring evaluation systems to the states, who could not develop goals only on test scores. There had to be other factors involved. Another major point I took was that this was rights preserving, not rights created. So if evaluation wasn't part of the bargaining system before this, then it's still not part of the evaluation system. It also gives access to an evaluation toolkit for modifying or creating evaluation systems. And really, very importantly, it encourages meaningful consultation between people creating the evaluations and other stakeholders. So, teachers, paraprofessionals, and the like, anyone who would be in the classroom and would be affected by these new evaluations. Overall, I thought that it was helpful to let people know what their rights were. In the Education Week Teacher Evaluation Heads to Court, there's an overview of litigations that have occurred recently in regards to teacher evaluation. So, approximately many in the last 20 years, I think some before that as well. What I found interesting was that many of them still hadn't been decided. I did do some further research, and still many of them always favored the state. That was a little discouraging based on some of the information, but a couple of these cases challenged that evaluation systems should not be based on test scores, that teachers who were effective one year were then ineffective the following year with no discernible change, especially to their students' grades. That non-tested subjects like art and music, that their evaluations were affected by scores when there was no test in those areas. And also that student poverty was not taken into consideration. All of these things, as teachers, we know do affect a student's learning, and so the teacher's ability to efficiently communicate that information with them. In the last article, Education Week Teacher Evaluation and Issue Overview, it details why they think that evaluation went from a pretty obscure practice to one of the most prominent issues in education. And they said that they believed that this was because of a desire to boost effectiveness, because of new research on quality teaching, efforts made by advocacy groups to revamp laws, as well as political pressure to dismiss ineffective teachers. And still, there are inconsistencies from evaluation to evaluation, so that makes it very hard to determine if systems are working. And also, because of the connection to Common Core, this shows that it could just be the unpopularity of the connection to it, because Common Core seems to be unpopular with teachers. So, at my school, which is a small Catholic school in an urban setting, that does not answer to any higher authority. We are a private institution. We have our own evaluation process. For new teachers, they get one official observation per quarter, plus they get drop-ins. If the new teacher is found to be ineffective, a teacher improvement plan and mentoring plan will be set up for them. But also, untenured teachers do not have any rights within their first 3 years. So if they are let go, they can be let go, and the union cannot fight for them to stay in. The evaluation process at our school is not tied to test scores at all, though if the test scores, so in New York we have the region exam, the region exam scores are extremely low, then we are going to look at that and set up a teaching improvement plan for that as well. But the evaluation itself is not tied in with test scores. Tenured teachers receive one official observation a year, And if effective, there does not need to be a follow up. If ineffective, there will be a follow up. If continuously ineffective, a TIP will be set up. But as long as I have been there, I have not experienced a tenured teacher being let go for ineffectiveness. Their evaluation systems still are not tied to test scores as well. Um, and because they are tenured and because the former administration did not consistently do their observations, there's no paper trail. And it would make it very, very difficult to let go an ineffective teacher who has been there for a very long time. If a teacher disagrees with their evaluation, the first step would be to bring in their union delegate to advocate on their behalf. Um, Also, they can refuse to sign the evaluation report, and they can be asked to be observed again. Um, this has happened where an evaluation report was written, and the union got involved, and they refused to sign the evaluation report, and the principal wound up um, saying okay to the teacher and just not putting the report in the file. One of the case studies I looked at is here in New York, and I found it pretty interesting. This was the Lederman versus Kim case. It was mentioned in the Education Week, one of the Education Week articles, um, and it caught my eye. So this case was decided in favor of the teacher, Sherry Lederman, but the judge did determine that he couldn't decide on other evaluations to comment on the system, but did side with her. She received the same exact results 2 years in a row, but was effective the first and ineffective the second based on th- just the evaluation itself. So it was inconsistent. This is something that I've seen with some of my friends or family members who've worked in the public school system, where 1 year they are effective, and the next they are not necessarily ineffective, but they've gone from highly effective to effective, maybe because they're being evaluated on a scale, or possibly because their students tested but after they were their teacher. So, for example, a kindergarten teacher, um, the students that they taught 4 years ago are now taking state tests in the fourth grade. Those fourth grade scores are now going to be counted in the evaluation to determine whether a teacher is effective or highly effective or not. So, as a building leader, I think it's important to keep up on current events. Um, I think that being well read, having memberships in principals associations, um, even being active on social media can help keep a principal or an assistant principal abreast of the new things that are happening. Discussions with union leaders and memberships, I think, are very important. Attending conferences and attending your own professional developments, attending leadership development courses, speaking to other principals about things that are going on in their districts. I think that all of those are ways that we can keep ourselves aware of the things that are going on around the country. All right, that is it. There's some of the article links. I thank you so much for your time, and that's it. Bye bye.